Across centuries and civilizations, there have been whispers of unseen intruders, voices that are not one's own, strength beyond the natural body, convulsions without visible cause, languages never learned, yet suddenly spoken. These events have often been labeled with a single, terrifying word: possession. But what if the truth is not supernatural, only misunderstood? Tonight, we step carefully beyond fear, beyond folklore, and into the clinical light of science. Not to mock belief, but to examine the evidence. Not to dismiss experience, but to understand it. This is not an exorcism. This is an investigation. Human beings are pattern-seeking storytellers. When behavior defies expectation, when the body turns against itself, when the mind fractures under invisible strain, cultures build explanations. Spirits, demons, curses, attachments, possession narratives appear in nearly every major civilization, from ancient Mesopotamian tablets to medieval European trial records to modern viral videos. The consistency is striking. The interpretation is not. What we uncover is not less fascinating than the supernatural. In many cases, it is more disturbing because it is real, measurable, and profoundly human. Before modern neurology, seizures were often amnesia. Today, we interpret it as spiritual invasion, sudden collapse, violent convulsions, altered consciousness, foaming at the mouth. Post-episode recognizes many of these episodes as epileptic seizures, bursts of abnormal electrical activity in the brain. Certain forms, particularly temporal lobe epilepsy, can produce intense religious or mystical sensations, auditory hallucinations, sudden personality shifts, emotional extremes, out-of-body perceptions. Historically, such symptoms were recorded as demonic encounters. Other neurological conditions have also been misread. Tourette's syndrome, involuntary vocalizations and movements, sometimes including socially taboo words, once described as blasphemous speech under spirit control. Psychotic disorders, including schizophrenia spectrum conditions, may involve voices, paranoia, or perceived external control of thoughts. There is also functional neurological disorder, where very real physical symptoms arise without detectable structural brain damage. Paralysis, tremors, speech loss, all genuine yet driven by disrupted brain signaling rather than injury. To earlier observers, this looked indistinguishable from supernatural affliction. The brain, when distressed, can create more convincing realities than any legend. Not all possession-like states originate in neurology. Many emerge through psychological pathways, especially trauma. Dissociative identity disorder, often rooted in severe early trauma, can involve distinct identity states, voice changes, memory gaps, and behavioral shifts. In earlier eras, these presentations were frequently diagnosed as demonic occupation rather than dissociation. The mind, under extreme stress, can partition itself to survive. To witnesses unfamiliar with trauma psychology, this appears otherworldly. Then there is suggestion, one of the most powerful forces in human cognition. When individuals strongly believe they are under supernatural influence, expectation can shape experience. This is related to placebo effects, belief creating improvement, nocebo effects, belief creating harm, expectation-driven physical reactions. In certain environments, revival settings, high-intensity rituals, fear-charged communities, suggestions can catalyze dramatic physical responses. At larger scales, we observe mass psychogenic illness, where groups develop shared symptoms without a toxic or infectious cause. Documented cases include entire classrooms developing fainting spells, communities reporting identical mysterious sensations, schools experiencing synchronized motor symptoms, no pathogen, no poison, only psychological contagion amplified by belief and stress. Interpretation depends heavily on culture. In some regions, possession is treated with ritual expulsion, in others with psychiatric care. The same symptom, two entirely different responses. Cultural scripts teach people how distress is supposed to appear. When suffering must be expressed, it often follows familiar symbolic forms. In highly religious contexts, that form may be possession. Media further amplifies this template. Films, viral clips, and dramatized exorcisms create behavioral blueprints. Once embedded, these scripts shape how future episodes are expressed and recognized. Socioeconomic pressure also plays a role. Communities under strain, poverty, conflict, instability show higher rates of possession-style episodes. Stress seeks a voice. Culture provides the vocabulary. When we remove the supernatural label, something important happens. The afflicted person does not become less significant. They become more reachable. What looks like possession is often neurological crisis, trauma response, dissociation, suggestion effect, stress expression, psychiatric illness. These are not moral failures. They are medical and psychological conditions deserving care, not fear. A compassionate, evidence-based approach reduces stigma and increases survival, recovery, and dignity. The unknown should not drive us to terror, but to investigation. The line between the supernatural and the scientific has moved many times in human history. Lightning was once divine anger. Infection was once a curse. Seizures were once demons. Each time, knowledge did not erase wonder. It refined it. Stay curious. Stay critical. Stay humane. Because sometimes the most frightening truth is not that something is possessed, but that something is hurting.